Welcome back guys. In this video I'll be comparing the performance, image quality and latency of Optiscaler FSR frame generation, LSFG 3 and AFMF 2 in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 running on my Rog Ally, that is Windows 11. I am using the latest version of Windows 11, version 24H2. LSFG had some issues with 23H2 version of Windows, but this is not the case with 24H2. DXGI capture mode works fine. I have already shown the process of installing Optiscaler mod in this game. We'll drop the tutorial video link in the description. Enter in settings for the game. First I'll be running it with Optiscaler FSR frame generation. VSync on, VSync off, using Radiant Chill to apply a 60 FPS cap. That's it. Show you LSFG settings as well. Not using any of lossless scalings, upscaling algorithms. LSFG version 3 selected. X2 mode, it will try to double the FPS. Resolution scale maxed out. Clip cursor setting enabled. Draw FPS setting enabled. Sync mode set to default. Max frame latency set to 1. Capture API set to DXGI. Settings. Hotkey for enabling LSFG control alt and S. Start as administrator setting on. Minimize the application. Launch the game. My Ally is running on BIOS version 341. I have set the UMF buffer size to 7 GB. Install AMD's GPU driver Adrenaline Edition version 25.2.1 using a 30 watts manual profile. All three power values are at 30 watts, 720p resolution, CPU boost disabled. Connected my 8-bit to Ultimate 2C controller to Ally via 2.4 GHz wireless mode. We'll be targeting 50 to 60 as the base FPS range so that latency does not become a problem. In-game settings, 720p resolution. Window mode full screen, it's basically borderless full screen mode. VSync off. Upscaler set to DLSS. This is Optiscaler mod. I'm actually using XeSS version 2 upscaler. Upscaler's quality preset selected. Motion blur, depth of field disabled. Everything set to medium. Optiscaler mod settings. Upscaler selected, XeSS version 2. I haven't enabled frame generation setting yet. Show you the base performance first. I'm in the settlement of Traskowitz. Yeah, here FPS is close to 60. Look at the graphics of this game. This is amazing. Amazing optimization. CryEngine for you. Yeah, GPU load here is close to 90%. Image quality is looking so sharp. All thanks to XeSS upscaler. I don't recommend using the game's official FSR upscaler implementation. It produces texture shimmering effect around fine textures like these fences. See, minimal shimmering in the case of XeSS. If this were FSR upscaler, aggressive shimmering would have occurred here. Okay, let's enable Optiscaler FSR frame generation now. Open mod menu. Check the setting FG active, FG hotfix setting checked as well. Now if you set the limit value to 1, frame generation smoothing effect will get disabled when Henry is low on HP or stamina. It's due to the vignette like effect that appears on the display. I'll demonstrate this. Also enable FG allow async setting. This setting is stable now with newer builds of Optiscaler. Back to the game. Your FPS increased to around 100. Look at that smoothness. This is just insane. Stunning visuals and amazing performance. Okay, now I'll just run out of stamina and sprint. Yeah, frame generation smoothing effect got disabled as you can see. Ignore the FPS value. Gameplay is a bit choppy, not as smooth as the real 100 FPS. There is a way to fix this issue. You need to set FG hotfix limit value to 4. Back to the game. But this will cause some graphical artifacts. Yeah, the crosshair is flickering. This HUD element is also flickering. The sword icon in the bottom middle HUD. But look at that smoothness, 100 FPS. I just ran out of stamina again. sprint. Henry is out of stamina. Frame generation smoothing effect is still working, see. So minor graphical artifacts in the case of Optiscaler FSR frame generation. And yeah, Henry's shadow also flickers. Now this artifact is not caused by the mod. It's up to AMD to fix this issue. You must have seen this artifact in other games as well that support official FSR frame generation, like Spider-Man swinging around the city. Shadow always flickers. Input delay is not a problem. Base FPS is already on the higher side. That really helps in keeping the latency in check. Now I'll test LSFG using Afterburner overlay to show you the performance metrics. Optiscaler FSR frame generation disabled. Press the hotkey for enabling LSFG. Control Alt and S. Yeah, it's working. Base FPS dropped to around 53. FPS with frame generation 105. Can observe that amount of smoothness, but I am observing some flickering around the crosshair when I move the camera in complete circles. Game's HUD elements are not flickering, see. So no problems here. Subtitles are also not flickering. What? A dog. Henry's shadow looks a bit blurry during motion. There's a strip of garbled textures around the bottom edge of the display. Very difficult to observe this on Ally small display, but it's present from here. Look at these textures, the shine on them, high quality textures, amazing image quality. Frame generation effect does not get disabled during fast visual motion. Very stable experience. FPS stays close to 100. Latency is not a problem, all thanks to the high base FPS. I'll just run out of stamina. Hopefully frame generation smoothing effect will not get disabled. Sprinting, yeah, it's still working, so very good result with LSFG. Now I'll test the game using AFMF 2. It's basically a tie between Optiscaler FSR frame generation and LSFG. Open the game center in setting. From here just enable AFMF 2. Set search mode to high. This prevents frame generation smoothing effect from getting disabled during fast visual motion. Performance mode set to quality. FreeSync on, VSync off. 60 FPS cap applied. We are in, standing at the entrance of Traskowitz. Yeah, FPS increased to around 110. Can observe varied amount of smoothness. Latency is non-existent. This is amazing. Frame generation lag value 14 milliseconds. Wow, as good as native. Okay, the crosshair is flickering, so all of the frame generation techniques produce this issue. Let's check out Henry's shadow. I'll just sprint around. It's not producing that blurry effect that we saw in the case of LSFG. No flickering produced as well that we saw in the case of FSR frame generation. Game's HUD elements are also not flickering. I just run out of stamina now. Hopefully smoothing effect will still work. Yeah, it's working. This vignette effect did not disable the smoothing effect that we saw in the case of Optiscaler FSR frame generation when the limit value was set to 1. I'll be honest, AFMF2's smoothing effect is not better than that of LSFG 3 and Optiscaler FSR frame generation. I felt Optiscaler FSR frame generation was the smoothest than LSFG 3. In the last position, it's AFMF2, but still the results are good. Performance is better than the base performance. Another good thing is that LSFG is working properly with the latest version of Windows 24H2. You can use any of these frame generation techniques in this game. AFMF2 and Optiscaler FSR frame generation are completely free, whereas LSFG is included with a paid application called Lossless Scaling that sells on Steam Store for around $7 US. So that's it for the video guys. I hope you found it useful. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.